All right, we should be good. We should be live. What's up, everybody? We got a 9-game Monday slate to talk about. This was definitely a news day, big news day. A lot has changed since I made my video last night. There was a couple of teams on back-to-backs today, and we kind of saw the Clippers, just kind of say, screw it, we're going to rest a lot of guys. They're resting, Reggie Jackson's out, Marcus Morris is out, Robert Covington's still out for personal reasons, so the Clippers only have non-available players for tonight. This is going to be a team you definitely want to look to for value. They've already released the starting lineup. As you can see, starting lineup is going to be Zubac, Mann, Batum, Kennard, and Coffey. Then off the bench, they have Boston, Hood, Semi Ojeleye, and Isaiah Hartenstein. So they have non-available players. I think the starters look appealing. Zubac at his price tag, I'm not super high on. Batum on a back-to-back, how many minutes are they really going to play Batum? I don't know. But I think Mann's a really good play. I think Kennard's a really good play. I think Coffey's a really good play. All three of those guys look like really good value plays, in my opinion. And then even off the bench, like Brandon Boston for $3K off the bench, he'll play 20, 25 minutes most likely. If the game blows out, which is possible, I think he would play in a blowout. So definitely think he's in play for value. Don't think I'd go to anyone else though. Like Rodney Hood, I'm not interested in. Semi Ojeleye, I'm not interested in. Maybe Hartenstein you could play, but I think him and Zubac are probably just going to split the center minutes. But I definitely like these Clippers guys. There's a lot of value from the Clippers now. Now that Morris and Jackson are both out. And then there's some other news that we're waiting on, in some of these later games, like LeBron is questionable. Don't really know there. It's a back-to-back. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron sits, but we'll have to monitor that. Rudy Gobert was questionable, but it seems like he's going to play. Zach LaVine's questionable in the late game, so we'll kind of have to monitor that. Van Vliet's questionable too. So there's a couple of ones, but definitely that Clippers news was the big news that really changed up the slate. We do have a lot of value now from the Clippers that obviously we just touched on. But if you guys have any questions for tonight, you can start throwing those in chat. We'll just be live for probably 20-25 minutes, answer any questions you got. Did just get word that Chris Dunn is going to be available for the Blazers, so that's kind of interesting. I don't think Chris Dunn's in the DraftKings player pool, but he did recently sign with the Blazers, so Chris Dunn will be making his Blazers debut. I guess maybe that takes a few minutes off some of those bench guys. I don't think it's too impactful though. And the Blazers are starting the normal starting lineup. Okay, so yeah, we'll start answering some questions. Again, if you have questions, throw those in chat, guys. And again, like the stream. Appreciate all the likes as always. Subscribe if you have not yet. And yeah, let's hopefully win some money tonight, fellas. Let's hopefully win some money. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. Victor asks, hello Noah, let's make this happen. Is Ohio eligible for prize picks? I do not think so, Victor. Don't think so. You could probably just Google it, honestly. You just Google what states is prize pick eligible. I don't think Ohio's eligible. Honestly, you could just make a prize picks account and you'll find out if you're eligible or not when you make your account. My man Noah, I need you to do this stuff on the weekends. Who are we looking to for value on the Clippers? Yeah, we just talked about that, Nicholas. Doing this on the weekends, we'll see. I definitely think when the playoffs get here, I don't want to miss any playoff slates. So I think when the playoffs start, it's if we have playoff games on the weekends, I'll probably definitely make videos on the weekends. I don't know about streaming, but yeah. Usually, I'm here streaming Monday through Friday, making videos, making content. So I try and give myself a couple days off every now and then. But yeah, I think when the playoffs get here, I might start making videos on the weekends again. Really hate all this Clipper value still going to be blown out by 50. I mean, yeah, the Clippers, it's very likely they do get blown out here, but again, they only have 9 available players. So even in a blowout, I think Amir Coffey plays in a blowout, and he's starting, so I think he's a really, really good value. Zubac probably wouldn't play in a blowout, Batum wouldn't play in a blowout. Terrence Mann may or may not. Kennard may or may not. But I feel pretty confident that Amir Coffey plays in a blowout, so I think he's a really good value regardless. And then obviously Brandon Boston, he would really thrive in a blowout because he would just dominate the usage in the second unit. You gotta look to it's really hard to just full fade the Clippers. Somebody from the Clippers is gonna do well tonight. They're just too cheap. Even if they get blown out here, somebody probably does well with how cheap everyone is. Let's get it tonight, Noah Patrick, my man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Kobe White and Josh Richardson or Lonnie Walker and Caruso. I'd say I would want LaVine to be out before I played Kobe White and Caruso, but if LaVine's out, I'd probably go with the second. Hi, Noah. Good luck, bro. Hey, Ennis, good luck to you, man. Good luck to you. Edwards or Hart or Clay. Give me Josh Hart there. Give me Josh Hart. What do you think about Scotty Barnes? I would prefer that Van Vliet be out before I go to Scotty Barnes, especially with his price tag way up. So yeah, I'm not super interested in Scotty Barnes unless Van Vliet winds up getting ruled out. Garland and Keldon or Murray and Mann? Give me Murray and Mann. Thoughts on the Clippers value? Yeah, we just kind of touched on that. At the beginning of the stream. I think I have to play SJ and Murray. I think both those guys are good plays, Dirty Dan, for sure. I think Murray's a really good play. I think SJ's a good play. I think Trey's a really good pay-up option. I think that's kind of where I'm liking for pay-up options today. Trey, SGA, Murray, and I think Jokic I like quite a bit too. And there's enough value on the slate now that you can probably play at least 1 or 2 studs. Thoughts on Brandon Williams? I mean, Brandon Williams, he's fine, but his DraftKings price is really up there now. He's 6,500. He probably plays big minutes, but at 6,500, I'm not super interested. I think he's cheaper on FanDuel, so if you play on FanDuel, maybe it's fine to play him there. But yeah, on DraftKings at 6,500, I'm not super interested in Brandon Williams. Thoughts on Mobley? I mean, I think while Jared Allen's out, Mobley's going to have a really good role. Should play big minutes. no issues going to Evan Mobley today. I do worry a little bit about blowout there, but if the Clippers can hang and they can keep the game close, I wouldn't be surprised to see Mobley, do well. Core was fire yesterday. Hey, hopefully we can put up another good one for sure. Coffee and Kennard. Oh, Coffee and Kennard. Yeah, I like both. One guy outside of your core that's in your lineup. I mean, in my dummy lineup right now, I'll pull it up on my other monitor. I mean, I've got Jokic in my lineup right now, and he's not a core play for me, but I really like Jokic today. I think he should dominate against Embiid. I mean, Embiid's defense has really fallen off. Embiid's really trying to win the MVP and put up these massive offensive numbers, which has really hurt his defense. So I think it's a really good spot for Jokic. I think him and Embiid are going to go at it. I mean, Jokic, this is definitely it's a national TV game. I expect Jokic to play really well. So Jokic is not a core play for me technically, but he's in my lineup right now. Full transparency. Capella or Scotty Barnes? I would take Scotty Barnes if you have a salary to get him. Darius Bazley, PJ Washington, or Chris Boucher? Give me Bazley there. Also, Alex Caruso. I think if Zach LaVine gets ruled out, I would feel pretty good about Caruso because Caruso played like 30 minutes in his first game back. But if Zach LaVine plays, I think that hurts Caruso enough to where he's not super interesting. But yeah, if LaVine's out, I think Caruso is definitely in play. Bazley or Mobley? If you have the salary, Patrick, I would play Mobley. I would play Mobley if you have a salary. Siakam and Capella or Cat Bazley straight up. That's really close, Brendan. Give me Cat and Bazley, but that's really close. Thoughts on Okongwu? I mean, Okongwu is going to split the center minutes with Capella. If this game winds up being a blowout, I think that would definitely benefit Okongwu. I know Okongwu got more minutes yesterday because Clint Capella was in foul trouble. He played 26 minutes. If this game winds up being a blowout against Portland, which is totally possible, maybe Okongwu plays 25, 26 minutes. But if the game stays close, I think Okongwu only plays like 18, 20, just backing up Capella. So, if you want to play for the blowout, I don't hate going to Okongwu because he would definitely see more minutes in a blowout. Garland points over a lock. I did not bet that myself, Julian. I didn't bet that myself. I mean, I don't hate it. Garland's hit in 3 out of his last 5. I mean, I took Garland's fantasy points last slate, and he barely got there. So, Garland's on my good side. He's done me pretty well whenever I have took his props. I'm not betting any Garland props tonight, personally. I definitely worry about blowout for Garland. I could definitely see him, only playing 3 quarters, but it's fine. I don't hate it. Vassell or Walker from the Spurs? I mean, if I had to play one of those guys, I'd probably play Vassell, but I'm not super interested in many Spurs on this slate. What's up, Noah? Who's your top 3 studs for the 4-game slate on Yahoo? I'll be honest, Cincy, I haven't even looked at I'm guessing that's like the night slate. Yeah, I haven't even looked at the night slate. I couldn't tell you. I mean, let me take a look quickly. I mean, there's a lot of question marks right now. Like LeBron's questionable, Van Vliet's questionable, Zach. So it's all going to depend on if some of these guys play or not. That'll definitely change some things. But Giannis, obviously you could always play Giannis. Yeah, man, I just don't know. I haven't even looked at this night slate. So, I don't know. You just have to wait for some news, man. You're gonna have to wait for news on those questionable guys. Could you see a guy like Gary Trent lighting up the Lakers from 3-point territory? I mean, the Lakers have been giving up a lot of threes, and they've been really bad defensively. Gary Trent is God, dude, he's a coin flip. He either puts up 50 or he puts up 20. There's no in between with Gary Trent. I would definitely feel better about Gary Trent if Van Vliet doesn't play, but the matchup is really good. It wouldn't be surprising to see Trent do well. You can never tell how he's going to shoot the ball. Any prize picks? I posted 3 picks earlier today on YouTube. I don't know if you watched the video or not. Check that video out if you haven't. I also give out more picks on Patreon. I'm not going to share all those because, I want to save those for the Patreon members. But I do have 3 picks posted on YouTube that I like. I don't know if you got those or not. If you play on prize picks, always check the YouTube channel because I make a video every day posting 3 of my favorite plays. Usually it's 2 or 3 plays that I like. Will Trey go for 60-plus fantasy points tonight? If the game can stay close, I think he's got that kind of upside because Portland's defense is just terrible. I mean, they don't have anyone to stop Trey. And Trey went nuts against Portland earlier this season, so I think for Trey to really hit his full ceiling, you're going to need him to play full minutes. But man, if Portland can keep it close, I think Trey's got massive upside for sure. Sabonis or Siakam? I'd probably say Siakam there, but that's definitely close. Who would I pay for tonight? Jokic or Embiid? I prefer Jokic over Embiid. I prefer Jokic. Capella and Coffee or Kongwu and Keldon? Give me Capella and Coffee. Kennard or Coffee? I think both look really good. I prefer Coffee just because I think Coffee still plays in a blowout, whereas Kennard might lose minutes in a blowout. But I think both are really good values. Can you play Kennard and Boston Jr. together? I don't think there's any issue with that. I mean, Kennard's really cheap. Boston's minimum salary. I could definitely see both those guys putting up good games at their price tags. I think you can play probably 3 Clippers tonight. Honestly, you could probably play 4 Clippers if you wanted to. Most of the good value on this slate's coming from the Clippers, which is gross to say, but it's just the truth. It's also on Fox and Curry. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is always playable because he has big-time upside, but with Sabonis back and the price tag up on Fox, he's not someone I'm really that high on. And then Curry, I mean, you know Steph Curry, he's got massive upside every night, but he's just been so inconsistent this season. Maybe with Draymond back, that probably helps Curry, to be honest with you, but I'm not, Fox and Curry are not 2 guys I'm super high on. How many clips are too many? I would not play 5 Clippers, but I definitely think you could play 4. I think 3 is probably 2 to 3. That's where I'm looking at. But if you wanted to play 4 Clippers, I don't hate it. Depending on which 4 you're playing. I mean, outside of Zubac, the next most expensive player on the Clippers is 5K. So anytime you're in this scenario where the second most expensive player on the team is 5K, it's just value galore. And they only have 9 available players that even can play minutes. So there's going to be plenty of minutes for these guys, regardless of if it's a blowout or not. Favorite pay up? I mean, I like a lot of the pay-up guards. DeJounte, SGA, Trey. I think all 3 of those guys are really appealing. I like Jokic quite a bit too. I guess not factoring in salary, Jokic is probably my favorite pay-up. Utility for 4,100 and below. Let's see. I mean, Coffee's 3,700, so if you don't have Coffee already, I'd play Coffee at 3,700. If you already have Coffee, then maybe man, there's not too much else down here, but maybe Theo Maledon if he starts again. We'll have to pay attention to OKC starting lineup, but he could be someone to go to. But I would say Coffee if you don't have him already. You like any Thunder besides SGA? I think Bazley's in play. Bazley's coming off a huge game. I like the matchup against Charlotte. I think the price tag's pretty appealing. You know, Bazley's role has been pretty good. It's just that his minutes have been really inconsistent, but the last few games, he's been getting big minutes. 35 against Minnesota, 39 yesterday against Memphis, played 36 against Utah. If Darius Bazley plays 36 minutes tonight against Charlotte, I feel pretty good about him, putting up a good score for 5,300. So I definitely like Darius Bazley, and then depending on what the starting lineup is, if Theo Maledon starts again, he started yesterday. If he starts again, he's in play for value, in my opinion. Last minute in at util, Io, PJ Washington, or Lonnie Walker. I'd go PJ Washington there. I know Ball hasn't been getting minutes, but that price tag looks appealing. Yeah, LaMelo's minutes have not been super high, but LaMelo he can go for 60 any night. He's got that massive triple-double upside. So even if he only plays 30 minutes, I mean, for him to really hit his true ceiling to put up a 55, 60 point game, you're going to need those 36 minutes. But I wouldn't be surprised if LaMelo put up 50 points in 30 minutes or 50 fantasy points. But yeah, I don't know why his minutes, he just hasn't been getting the massive minutes that Rozier has, that Miles Bridges has. They've been keeping him in 30, 32 minutes, which is kind of annoying. But I think LaMelo's upside is always there. Just popping in, Noah, fresh off work, not playing tonight, but good luck. Hey, Didi, my man. Even though you're not playing tonight, good luck to you in the future slates. But I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Is Harden a sneaky GPP play tonight? No one's going to play him. Yeah, no one's playing Harden. I mean, he'll be 2% owned. So if you want to go there, Ryan, it's fine. I don't have a ton of interest in Harden, though. You like any Raptors versus the Lakers? I think for me, the Raptors, it'll all depend on if Van Vliet plays or not. If Van Vliet plays, it just takes my interest a little bit down. My interest in everyone else comes down a little bit. But if Van Vliet's out, I mean, I think Siakam's got upside in a really good matchup. I think Scotty Barnes' role would be really good, even though his price tag is really high. Gary Trent in a good matchup. I mean, there's like I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does well from the Raptors tonight. It's going to be tough to predict who it's going to be, but the main Raptors guys are definitely in play because the matchup's just so good. Would you play Gary Trent if VanVleet's active? If VanVleet plays, I'm not super high on Gary Trent. I'd like him more if VanVleet were to sit. Ball, Vooch, Rozier, or Harrison Barnes. Or Scotty Barnes, I'm guessing. So Scotty Barnes. So LaMelo, Vooch, Rozier, Scotty Barnes. I'd say LaMelo there. But if Levine gets ruled out, I think Vooch definitely becomes a good option because I like that matchup for Vooch. But I'll say LaMelo for now. What about Hassan Whiteside? Rudy Gobert is expected to play, so I'm not super high on Whiteside. Obviously, Whiteside smashed last game with Gobert out. With Gobert expecting to play, no interest in Whiteside. Mitchell, Siakam, Garland, or Sabonis? Give me Siakam there. Give me Siakam. You like Siakam even if VanVleet plays? I think Siakam's upside is still pretty high regardless. Obviously, his upside becomes even better and his ceiling becomes even higher if VanVleet sits. But we've seen Siakam have massive games even with VanVleet in. And the Lakers, man, I mean, their defense, especially down low, we saw what DeAndre Ayton did to them yesterday. Like, they just can't stop, these athletic bigs like DeAndre Ayton, like Siakam. I mean, these guys can feast on the Lakers. So I definitely think it's a really good spot for Siakam. Towns, DeRozan, or Fox? Again, if Levine's out, I'd say DeRozan. If Levine plays, give me Towns then. Maxi Clay, Trent, or Hart? I would say Josh Hart there. Murray, Trey, or Harden? Give me Trey. Clam chowder or egg drop soup? Oh, God. Neither one. Neither one. Man. I mean, who eats clam chowder? I mean, that just sounds terrible. Just sounds terrible. And then egg drop soup, not for me. Give me some broccoli cheddar soup or some potato soup, some chili. That's more up my alley. Clam chowder is a hard pass for me. Any interest in Malden for value? If he starts again, I'd be interested. If he doesn't start, then probably not going to go there. But he started yesterday with Aaron Wiggins out, and Aaron Wiggins is out again, so I'm guessing Theo Malden starts again. Rank Clippers players for the Showdown slate. I'd guess the Showdown's pricing is the same as the normal pricing, so I mean, I think Coffey's a really good value. I probably would go like Coffey number 1, Man 2, Kennard 3. Like, those are my 3 favorite Clippers, and I think all 3 are good values. The only reason I put put Coffey number 1 is because I think Coffey plays regardless of if it's a blowout or not. So I feel really good about him getting big minutes. But that's probably like those 3, and then Zubac, I'm definitely worried about his minutes not being super high on a back-to-back. I'm worried about Batum's minutes not being super high on a back-to-back. But the rest of those guys I feel good about. And then Brandon Boston, I think, is a okay value too. Can you play Siakam and Barnes? I wouldn't play those 2 guys together unless you're playing like the late slate or something. I don't think I'd play those 2 guys together on the main slate. Favorite mid-range center, 5,500 to 7K range. Let's see. I mean, probably Clint Capella. I know Capella's been super frustrating to roster lately, but with John Collins out, with Gallo out too, like I think Capella plays 30 minutes if it's a close game. It's a really good matchup. Portland's defense is just terrible, and especially without Nurkic, they don't have anyone to stop Capella like on the boards. This could definitely be like a big time 2020 type game from Capella. But the ceiling has not been there this season, but the upside's always there for Capella just because he's such a good rebounder. He can block shots. I think the minutes should be there too, as long as Portland can keep the game close. He's probably my favorite center in that price range. I know I love the vids. First live. Hey Daniel, appreciate you tuning in, my man. Glad you enjoy the videos. Malden, Kennard, Brandon Williams on backcourt is good enough. Was it like your 3 guards are Malden, Kennard, and Brandon Williams? I mean, I guess that's fine, but Brandon Williams, I think his price tag, I'm not really running to roster Brandon Williams, but I definitely like Kennard, and Malden, if he starts again, I think is fine. Points per dollar, who's your favorite stud on the slate? For pay-up option, I think Jokic is the guy I like the most, but I think all those other pay-up guards look good. DeJounte, SGA, Trey. But I'd say Jokic number 1, if you can fit him. 4,400 for util. Let's see. I'm guessing you already have Kennard, so I won't even say him. But if you don't have Kennard, I would definitely say Kennard. I mean, Caruso, if Levine's out, I do like Caruso as a value option. So if you want to plug in Caruso and just hope Levine's out, I'm fine with that. Even if Levine plays, Caruso probably still gets decent minutes, but I would prefer that Levine be out. Thoughts on Rozier? I mean, Rozier's in play. He's going to play huge minutes if it's a close game. I don't worry about the matchup against OKC. It should be a fast-paced game. Should be high scoring. I mean, Rozier, with how good his role is, like, he's always in play. The price tag has gotten up there a lot, but he's starting to get really expensive, but I still think the upside's there for Rozier, with how many minutes he plays. I'm not super high on Middleton. Whenever Giannis is healthy, I just really don't ever play Middleton. Brandon Boston, Coffee, Man, Baisley, Okongwu, James Harden, Miles Bridges, and Murray. I mean, it's a GPP lineup, Ryan. I think that's fine. You got some chalk in there, but you also got some really low-owned guys. Like, I think James Harden will be really low-owned. I think Okongwu will be pretty low-owned. I mean, Boston, Coffee, Man will be chalky. Or Coffee and Man will be, but I think for GPPs, that's fine. Nobody's playing Harden tonight. I can confidently say that. Batum or Coffee? I would prefer Coffee straight up. Mobley, Bridges, Thompson, Van Vliet, or Gobert? I mean, give me Mobley there, I guess. You still like Capella? I still think, yeah, with John Collins out, with Gallo out, I think the minutes should be there for Capella. I do worry about blowout, but if Capella plays 30 minutes against this Portland team, he should crush. I mean, Drew Eubanks, Trenton Watford, guys aren't going to stop Capella, so definitely could be like a big time, 16 points, 20 rebound type game from Capella. And obviously he can block shots too. He's got upside for sure. I think the minutes should be there without John Collins again. Thoughts on Watford, Eubanks, and Brandon Williams? I mean, I would not play all three of those guys in the same lineup. It's really hard to play those Portland guys on DraftKings. On DraftKings, the Portland guys are just all expensive. I mean, Josh Hart's almost 9K. Watford's almost 7K. Like, you can't play these guys at their price tags, I don't think. I don't know if you play like a other site, maybe you could do it there, but yeah, on DraftKings, I'm not super high on many Portland guys just because they're so expensive. Murray or Young? I slightly lean Trey, but that's really close, really close. Hawks have no power forward. They'll probably, I'm guessing DeAndre Hunter will slide down and play power forward. So they'll probably start like Bogdan maybe starts, and then Hunter will play the 4, or they'll start like TLC. Brady or Eli Manning? I mean, I think Brady's the better quarterback for sure. Kind of crazy. Brady was retired for like, what, a week or a month? And he's already back. I'll be honest, man. Like, I didn't think Brady was just going to give it up that quick. That team's just too good. Like, Brady, I don't know. Brady needs to, he should have left when like the team's starting to go downhill. I mean, they just got too much talent for Brady to just step away. I think Brady's going to try and win one more Super Bowl, and then he'll maybe call it after that. Thoughts on Plumlee cheap and should be in good matchup? I mean, it's a good matchup for sure against OKC, but like Plumlee's minutes have been tough to predict with Montrezl Harrell backing him up. Like Montrezl Harrell, if he plays really well, he could take minutes away from Plumlee. So I really haven't been playing Plumlee at all lately. Even in a good matchup, I'm not super high on Plumlee. Mobley or Capella? I would play Mobley if you have the salary. Capella's minutes are sketch. I mean, yeah, they're always up in the air. It's a back-to-back, which doesn't make me feel great. There's a lot of blowout risk in that game. But like last night, Capella was on pace to just crush, and he got in foul trouble. So, like Capella was on pace to play 30 minutes last night, and he got in foul trouble. So, as long as the game's close and he's not in foul trouble, I think we get 30 to 32 minutes from Capella, and he should crush this Portland team. So, I think he's definitely in play. Jeff Green, Corey Kispert, or Amir Coffee? Give me Coffee for sure. If Edwards is out, we like anyone from the Wolves. I think Anthony Edwards is probable, so he's expected to play. Who are we looking to for under 4K today? Your best option is probably Amir Coffee if you don't have him already. 6,200 for util. I'd say Capella. Can't decide between Murray, SGA, and Trey. I want all three. Yeah, I don't know if you... Let's see. If you plug in Murray, SGA, Trey... I mean, first off, all your guard spots are gone at that point. That leaves you 3,700. You couldn't do that. I don't know, Dirty Dan. It's a tough decision, man. I think all three are good plays. You're going to have to definitely choose 2 of the 3, most likely. It's tough to play all 3. You like Lindy Waters for value? Sorry if I missed you talk about him. I haven't really looked at Lindy Waters. I know his minutes have kind of been going up. I mean, he's fine, I guess, but not on this slate, I don't think. Unless he winds up starting or something, I'm not super high on Lindy Waters. Boston or Lamar Stevens? I prefer Boston. You like Chris Boucher? Chris Boucher played a lot off the bench last game, but I think if Van Vliet winds up playing today, Boucher's minutes probably won't be as high, so not really in on Boucher, especially with the price tag up. Capella and DeRozan or Jokic and Okongwu? Give me Capella and DeRozan. 5,400 forward position. I would say Terrence Mann. He's 5K, so I'd play Terrence Mann there if you don't have him already. If you already have Terrence Mann, then I would say Baisley. 1,400 forward. Have Coffee already. Let's see. I mean, there's not much down here, I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah, man, like, there's just not much. Maybe you could move some stuff around, and maybe play, like, Caruso. Like, because I know, like, Coffee can be played in the forward spot. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not many forwards, 4,400 or less, that I like besides Coffee. I don't want to just name somebody just to name them. Dubois, his last touchdown pass for 500K a few hours before he said he's coming back. I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that. Someone bought the ball, I guess, and for like $500,000. And wow, I wonder what did he do with it? Like the dude that bought the ball. Like, does he just still have it, or is he like giving it back to Brady or something? I haven't been paying attention to that. But I did hear about that someone bought his last touchdown pass, and yeah. It won't be his last one. Miss whether Ohio is eligible for prospects. No, I don't think so, Victor. You can Google it, but I'm pretty sure they're not. Maldon is starting. Okay. Thunder will start. SGA, Maldon, Mann, Baisley, and Oliver Sarr. Okay. So I guess Roby's not starting at center anymore. I mean, I haven't looked at Oliver Sarr. I don't even know, like, points per minute wise, if he's even a great point per minute player. I mean, the matchup's really good against Charlotte, but I don't think I'd play Oliver Sarr, even though he's starting. That's interesting that Roby's not starting. Is Roby, like, out? I mean, I haven't seen anything on Roby being out. I would feel better about Oliver Sarr if Roby's just out, but I'm guessing they're just starting Sarr instead of Roby. That's interesting. I mean, Sarr is playable now, but I don't think I'd go there. Do you speak on baseball? Basketball is killing me. I do play MLB DFS. I've been playing MLB DFS basically since I started. It was the first sport I ever played. Last year, I did not make any MLB DFS content on YouTube. I haven't decided yet if I will be making MLB DFS content on YouTube this season. But I do play MLB DFS. Usually during the summer, after basketball ends, that's when I really start getting into MLB. But while basketball's going on, basketball's usually like what I really focus on, and it's what, you know, does best on the channel. MLB is just a tough sport to make content for because it just doesn't do that well. Bridges or Mobley? I'd say Miles Bridges, but that's really close. You think Murray's the top pay-up option today? I think DeJounte Murray's always a good pay-up option. On this slate, he's right up there for sure. With, you know, Jokic, Trey, SGA, he's right up there with those guys. Who's going to play point guard for the Clippers? They're starting Terrence Mann at point guard, and I took over 3.5 assists for Terrence Mann on prospects today, so I feel pretty good about that with him starting at point guard. Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, or Embiid? I'd prefer Jokic of those four. Guy bought the Brady ball hours before he returned. Oh, damn. That is just brutal then. Wow. I want to look more into that. Tom Brady's last touchdown ball sells for $518,000 hours before Brady announces comeback. Jesus, man. Feel bad for that dude. I guess you can't get a... Can I get a refund? I guess you can't get a refund for that. Yikes. There goes $500,000 down the drain, probably. Any interest in Clippers men's salary guys? If I was going to play a men's salary Clipper, it would be Brandon Boston. it would be Brandon Boston. He's my favorite cheap Clipper. And I think he would play like in blowout, so definitely think there's plenty of minutes upside for him if this game gets ugly. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Appreciate all the questions. Once again, we'll be back tomorrow, an hour before lock. I hope to see you guys all in the stream tomorrow. I think we only have like 4 games tomorrow, so it's a shorter slate, but we'll be live an hour before lock. See you guys tomorrow. Best of luck. Peace out, fellas.